Good morning, young scientists! Are you ready with your next adventure? Today, you will learn some ways on changing solid materials in terms of size, shape, texture, and other. Then at the end of the lesson, you will able to describe the changes that happens in solid materials when they are bent, pressed, hammered, and cut. So what are you waiting for? Watch this video and join the fun activities. Matter is all around us. Can you still remember the three states of matter? Yes, that's right. We have solid, liquid, and gas. So what kind of matter are these? Yes, they are solid materials. Like other materials, solids have different characteristics or properties such as size, shape, color, odor, texture, and others. Solid materials could also undergo changes when exposed to certain conditions. It can change in different ways. Do you want to find out how these solid materials change? So get ready with your materials and join the fun activities. We have here a plastic ruler and a rubber slipper. Let us observe the changes happen to these materials when bent. Now what happened to the ruler after it was bent? Did it change its size? Right, the ruler stretched when it was bent. Was there a change in shape? Yes, as you can see, the ruler curved after it was bent. How about its texture? Correct, nothing has changed in texture. Did it change its color? You're right, the color is still the same. This time is the rubber slipper when it is bent. So what do you observe after the slipper was bent? Did it change its size? Right, the slipper stretched after it was bent. Was there a change in shape? Yes, the slipper curved when it was bent. What can you say about its texture? Correct, the texture is still the same. Was there a change in color? You're right, the color is still the same. Now what can you say about bending a solid material? You're right, bending can change the size and shape of the solid materials. It makes a straight object into curved one. Is there a new material formed? Correct, no new material is formed. Only the physical appearance is changed. Now let us observe another kind of solid material. We have here a pandesal and a chocolate bar. Let us observe the changes occur when they are pressed. What do you observe after the pandesal was pressed? Did it change its size? Yes, the area that was pressed became bigger. Is there a change in its shape? Right, the area that was pressed flattened. What can you say about its texture? Right, the area that was pressed became smooth. Did it change its color? Correct, nothing has changed in color. Now this time is the chocolate bar when pressed. So what changes are observable after the chocolate bar was pressed? Did it change its size? You're right, the chocolate bar became bigger. Is there a change in its shape? Yes, the area that was pressed became flattened. What can you say about its texture? Yes, the area that was pressed became smoother. Did it change its color? Right, the color is still the same. Now what can you say about pressing a solid material? What changes are observable during our activity? Right, pressing can change the size, shape, and texture of the solid materials. It made the solid material become smoother or flattened. No new material is formed. The solid material is still in its original state, only the physical appearance is changed. Now let's have another solid materials. We have here a plastic bag and a piece of paper. Let us observe how these materials change when they are cut by a scissor. Now what happened to the plastic bag after it was cut by a scissor? Did it change its size? Right, the plastic bag became smaller or turned into pieces. Is there a change in its shape? Correct, it changed into different shapes. What about its texture? Right, the texture is still smooth. Did it change its color? You're right, the color is still the same. Now this time is a piece of paper when cut by a scissor. Now what do you observe to the paper after it was cut by a scissor? Did it change its size? Yes, the paper became smaller or turned into pieces. Is there a change in its shape? Correct, the paper was changed into different shapes. What can you say about its texture? Right, the texture is still smooth. Did it change its color? Correct, nothing has changed in color. Now what can you say about cutting a solid material? What changes are observable during our activity? Right, cutting can change the size, shape, and texture of the solid material. It makes the solid material turn into pieces, but no new material is formed. Only the physical appearance is changed. Now let us observe the changes happen in a tin can and a piece of chalk when they beat, strike, or pound by a hammer. So what happened to the tin can after it was hammered? Did it change its size? Yes, the size became smaller. Is there a change in its shape? Right, the empty can deformed or changed into a regular shape after it was hammered. What can you say about its texture? Yes, the empty can became rough after it was hammered. Did it change its color? Right, nothing has changed in color. Now let us observe a piece of chalk when pounded by a hammer. Now what happened to the chalk after it was hammered? Is there a change in size? Yes, the chalk became smaller. How about its shape? Yes, from a hole into broken pieces. Did it change its texture? Right, from hard to into a soft powdery particles. Is there a change in color? Yes, the color is still the same. Now what can you say about hammering a solid material? What changes are observable during our activity? Right, hammering a solid material can change the size, shape, and texture. It makes a solid material turn into smaller pieces, but no new material is formed. Only the physical appearance is changed. Now you observed the changes in solid materials when bent, pressed, cut, and hammered. You say that there is a change in size, shape, and texture without changing its composition. The material is still the same or no new material is formed. So what kind of change is observable in the material? Yes, it is a physical change. It is changed in size, shape, and texture without changing its composition. So what is the reason why the composition or characteristics of the solid is still the same, or no new material is formed? Let us take a closer look on how molecules in a solid were arranged. As you can see, the molecules of gas, liquid, and solid. Gas has definite mass but has no definite shape and volume. Its molecules are farther apart, so they move freely. Liquid has definite volume and mass but has no definite shape. Its molecules are loosely arranged but still close together. This is why they can move around and allow molecules to flow. As you can see, the molecules of solid are packed closely to each other compared to gas and liquid. This is the reason why solids are hard and why we can hold them. It has definite shape, mass, and volume. Solid can change only if you give force like bending, cutting, hammering, or pressing. Do you know that there are other ways on how to change a solid material aside from bending, pressing, cutting, or hammering? As I said, solid materials can change in many ways, like twisting, tearing, crumpling, folding, or melting. These ways can change the size, shape, or texture of the material, but no new material is formed. Only physical appearance is changed. Now let us see if you really know the ways of changing the following solid materials by unscrambling the letters. This iron is used for building construction. How would you change to make it useful for building a post? Correct, by bending. Next, how would you change a whole pan bread into a sliced bread? Yes, by cutting. How about making a dough for baking a cake? Correct, by pressing. Now you want to mold an iron into another kind of tool. What way can you do to change it? Yes, correct, by hammering. Now let's have another challenge for you. Describe the following solid material after it was bent. A. The wire became flat. B. The wire changed its color. Or C. The wire changed its shape. The answer is correct. The wire changed its shape. Now describe the banana after it was pressed. A. The banana was flattened. B. The banana became rough. Or C. The banana changed its color. The answer is correct. The banana was flattened. Now this time is the cloth after it was cut. A. The cloth became bigger. B. The cloth became smooth. Or C. The cloth turned into pieces. The answer is correct. The cloth turned into pieces. Next is a plastic bottle after it was hammered. A. The plastic bottle turned into pieces. B. The plastic bottle became smooth. Or C. The plastic bottle was crumpled. The answer is correct. The plastic bottle was crumpled. Now let me see on how resourceful you are during this time of pandemic. Think of any ways on how you solve this situation. You have extra 5-meter cloth in your cabinet. It was not used for quite some time. Your grandmother is a good dressmaker. In what way can you make this cloth useful during this pandemic? Cloth is a solid material. It can change it in many ways. Some of you would think better to make a face mask out of 5-meter cloth. In this time of pandemic or nowadays, people must wear a face mask to help prevent the spread of infection and prevent the individual from contracting any infectious germs. As your assignment and at the same time as your performance task, make a face mask out of your extra cloth in your cabinet. Take a photo or video before, during, and after doing the task and send it or post it in our FB group or page. Thank you for watching, Young Scientist. I hope you enjoy and learn so much today. You can now describe the changes happened in solid materials when they are bent, pressed, hammered, and cut. So again, this is Judith Baltasar saying good morning, young scientists.